Okay, so the first page I want you to go to is 3A. That's the one with the green boxes. And it came up in the practice test last week, and you may remember it, but I want you to add on their arc length. So I just added it next to like the if r is not equal to 1 because there's not a box for it. But add on there your arc length, which is S equals theta times the radius. 3A. Yeah, this is the page is 3A. It doesn't really matter where you add it, but it did come up in the first part of 3. So again, arc length, S equals theta times radius. So in one of the practice tests, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, like they gave you the length of the arc and you had to work backwards to find theta. They could give you any two of those 3 parts, and you'd have to be able to find the other one. The second thing I want you to add is on 1B. So if you'll go to where the boxes are blue, where it says regression model, and actually it doesn't have to be there, but I put it because it's a residual plot. Somewhere around 1B, you want to add information about a residual plot. So a residual plot is a graph that shows the model as your x-axis, and then the dots will fall above and below it. And the dots represent R, and R is actual minus the estimate. So this is where if you were given a specific, you ran a regression or they gave you a regression model, that model is used to estimate what should happen at specific input values. And the R represents the difference between the actual and the estimate. It is actual minus estimate if you're worried about its sign, which means if it's a positive value, the actual is above the model, and so we say the model is the underestimate. If it's negative, it means it will be below the x-axis or below the model, which means the model is above it and the model is an overestimate. And the bigger the absolute value of R, this is what that looks like. It's terrible handwriting, but bigger absolute value of R, the less accurate it is. So the further away, obviously, the further away from the model it is, the less accurate it is. And then you could also see a question in which it will give you a regression model. It will give you a residual plot, and it would say which of the following is appropriate or which of the following is not appropriate. And a pattern means it's not appropriate. So if the dots form a linear pattern, it would not be appropriate. A quadratic pattern, it would not be appropriate. A cubic pattern, anything like that, it would not be appropriate. So I'm going to show you an example of one of those. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so here's what an example could look like, okay? In this, it says the graphs show the residual plots resulting from a cubic, quadratic, and linear regression calculated on the same data set. Based on the plots, which of the following statements is best supported by the results? So from these, we are looking for something that is not in a pattern shape. Which one is not pattern? Which one is not in a pattern of a shape, basically? The cubic one, right? This one goes up and comes back down like a quartic. This one goes down and up. This could almost be like a sinusoidal graph. The other one is that scattered dots, and that's the one that would be used, okay? So that's one way you could see the regression model talking about the actual pattern. All right, so now let's talk about an extra credit opportunity. So I apologize because I know I just flooded your to-do list, but I'm giving you some stuff that you could do that starts today. It is none of it's due today, okay, but it does start today. And this is one of them. So this is to generate rapid review videos, okay? If you go to the module that says review, there is actually a link to a page. Maybe I'll put it on the top. It is linked to a page that says, okay, so on the module that says AP Review, underneath this section that says Review Videos, there's 3 things that are there for you now. One is the AP Review videos. When you click on the AP Review videos, it's going to take you to a page, okay? The page has multiple things. One at the top is the link to AP Classrooms or College Board's playlist, which I'll talk to you about in a second. And then it also gives you the review videos, general information about the test, and then there is a video link there for each FRQ question. So there's also a fourth one underneath. I cut it off, but there's a fourth one down there. And these are all provided by AP Classroom. So what is the question about? What does it talk about? What can you expect from that question? If you click on where it says College Board AP Classroom playlist, now you're here. And these have what are called kind of like a rapid review. So these will go through the unit review with some practice questions for each unit. And then on the bottom, it will talk about those FRQ questions. I would say this is a great way to spend some of that spring break time. Like, do I want you to take a break? Yes. And I apologize, but I feel like it comes with the territory when you're taking an AP 2 weeks after we come back. What can you do over the break? And these are some good resources, okay? So I would say these are good videos, whether you watch them now or you wait till we come back. It's just obviously when you wait till we come back, you're compiling more stuff in a condensed period of time. All right. So then based on that, there is something called student-created rapid reviews. And I started compiling these last year. So I did this assignment with last year's group, and I gave them the challenge, which was create a video and rapid review meeting quick. I don't mean a 10-minute video. I mean a quick video going over one of the concepts, okay? So when you click on that page, you will see, I think I pulled it in, which ones have already been created from last year's group that were like right. So if I posted the video here, it is a good video. There were people that made mistakes. I didn't keep those, that kind of thing, or maybe it was too long or a little bit boring. Something like that I did not keep, but the good ones are on this page. So this video is a student-generated video going over rational functions. There's a video down here going over inverses. There's a couple videos on some of the other stuff, okay? So if they're saved there, then that means that is another good resource that you could watch. All right, so your opportunity is this, to generate one of those rapid review videos. So the objective is to create an instructional video covering a topic from the AP exam, and you can choose from the list below. In yellow, I put extra points will be awarded to those that submit videos that are missing from the page. So if you go to the page I just showed you, anything that's got an empty box means I don't already have a great video for it. I will give you extra points if you do one of those. It doesn't mean you can't do the others, but I will give you extra points from the ones that don't have them. I would say, if it were me, I would look through this list and I would say which is the one that's the hardest thing for you to do and push yourself to make a video on it. So the one you are the least comfortable with, do that, because this will force you to review that content, master it, and then you know it, okay? So from the list, and it's all of it, what can you cover? A rapid video on rational functions. If you're doing that, it should include the things that are listed there. Graphs of polynomials should include the lists that are there. Exponential functions, and it gives you the unit, okay? Identify growth versus decay, end behavior, that kind of thing. Inverses, log functions, and then it continues on through classifying the linear quadratic using like first difference, second difference, that kind of thing. Sinusoidal functions, the tan, cotangent, cosecant, and secant graphs, trig equations, inverse functions, and lastly, polar coordinates and functions. So if you want the extra credit, and obviously this is twofold, it helps you review that specific content, but it also gives you some extra credit points. This will be test points added onto your test average. So I put it at a 0 because it's going to go into your test category and it will just add onto your test total, okay? They will range, I would say 5 points minimum if it's done in consent, but like if it's a great extra and it's one of the ones I don't have already, I'll go up to 10 points. So it's like 10 points directly on a test. Also, you're forcing yourself to review what you need to review. So I would say, like, go through that list and say which one is the hardest section for me and spend some time looking at it. So I'm going to assign this today. It will be due the Wednesday we come back. So not the first day we come back, the Wednesday we come back, but I did want to do it now so that if you're one of those people that's not traveling or whatever it is and you have the time over break, this would be a great way to spend that time.
What is our third test?
Well, let me get to that in a second. Yeah. Any questions on the... Yeah. You don't have to. No, but like obviously it needs to be legible. Your audio has to be clear and you have to make sense. I feel like those are fair things. Yeah. I would say the more effort you put into this, the more points I will award. Yeah. Any What's left? You have a test the day you return. So the multiple choice questions, yes, we've been talking about this for like weeks, so the looks of shock should be wiped right off your face.
Not shock, it's disappointment.
Okay, well, you are already studying for this test. Like all of the practice tests you have done in the last 3 weeks are reviewing for this test. We've gone through all the content that is on this test. It is nothing new, okay? So the one that is on the day we return, which is what, 429? 28, okay, is the non-calc. It is 20 questions, multiple choice, non-calculator, okay? So the practice test 1 we already did. Practice test 2 we already did, and we are going to start practice test 3. Those are great reviews. In addition to that, the 5 steps review test I posted on, it's going to be posted on Canvas as a PDF. You can do that over the break. That would be a great review, okay? Then the next week, the following Wednesday, which is the 8th, is your calc multiple choice. It will be the same, 20 questions, multiple choice, but those will not require a calculator, but you will have access to a calculator that whole time. Yeah. Okay, I'll record this too. So Monday, we're going to do the non-calc test. The rest of that week, on Monday and Tuesday of the following week, we are going to focus on calculator-based questions. So all of these practices that you did the non-calc part, right? We're now going to go back, practice 1, 2, and 3, and do the calc part. The good part is those are shorter because those are 1 class period each. But yes, again, it's the same. It comes from the same content, the style of questions. And I'll be honest, because like the bulk of your multiple choice questions don't need a calculator. There will be questions on the calc part that don't need a calculator, but there also will be questions that require a calculator. Yeah, and then that's it. Those will be your last 2 tests. After Wednesday's quiz, which I'll talk about next, after Wednesday's quiz, you will have 1 more quiz, and that's going to come from the calc content, which we're going to do after your test, after your AP exam. We're going to get into limits and derivatives, which is prep for calc. Okay, so now let's talk about your quiz. So then Wednesday of this week is a quiz grade, okay? This quiz is straight up memorization of your formulas and or memorization of your unit circle log properties. So on the quiz review, it says it. This is what the quiz will cover. Either trig functions of unit circle angles, meaning sine, cosine, tangent, secant, cosecant. I can ask you anything on everything from 0 to 2 pi, okay? Inverse trig functions, meaning like a sine -1 of -1/2. That kind of a thing. So for those, sine -1, cosine -1, tan -1, okay? You need to know, obviously, your coordinate points, but you also need to know the restrictions on those curves. Remember, we have to restrict inverses, otherwise they fail the horizontal line test, and if they fail the horizontal line test, they're not 1-to-1, which means they can't have an inverse. So when you're talking about your inverse answers, for sine and tan, we go from -pi/2 to +pi/2. So if I said, where is sine -1/2? That happens 2 places on my natural unit circle because it happens in the 3rd quadrant and the 4th quadrant. But because we are restricted from -pi/2 to +pi/2, I picked the 4th quadrant, but the negative named angles of those. And at the over 6 in the 4th quadrant, negative named angle would be -pi/6. So there is only 1 correct answer there. It is not 11pi/6. It does not include 7pi/6. And then for cosine, we go our natural top of our unit circle, which is from 0 to pi. So if I said cosine -1 of -1/2, my answer is the over 3 in the 2nd quadrant, which is 2pi/3. So those types of questions will be on Wednesday's quiz.
Wait, so sine and tan are the first.
Sine and tan are the right side, but the negative angles in the 4th quadrant.
Right, they all did sine. So
And then tan is top, and then cosine is top.
So we have to remember the inverse of the unit
Yeah. I mean, the unit circle gives you the answers to the inverse. You just have to know where to restrict it. Yeah. Tan, yeah, tan is from, this is for sine and tangent, both of those. From negative pi over 2 to positive pi over 2, and then cosine is the top.
What unit is that?
It's unit 3, exactly which section, I have to look it up. All right, then you get properties of logs, expanding and condensing. So like if it said log of a to the second, b to the third, could you expand that out and then reverse it? If it was expanded, could you condense it? Those are your properties of logs. And then the formulas. So sum and difference, trig identities, double angle, and reciprocal identities are also going to be on there. It could say sine of x plus y equals, and you have to pick from the multiple choice the rest of that formula. It could say sine of 2u equals, and you have to pick from the multiple choice the rest of that formula. All right, so how do you prepare for this best? There is a practice. It's a Quizalize is what it's called. If you go into that thing, it's going to take you into a class there. You should see your name. I'm going to have you do this, but somebody test it out with me before we leave, because I created the class and I added you guys into it. And then within there, there's multiple practices. There is a practice for the trig functions, and there's a practice of the logs. And then for all the formulas, there's a Quizlet link to all the formulas. So every formula that's on what you should know is in that Quizlet. Those are 2 ways that you could practice between now and Wednesday. Questions for me on the quiz. It is 10 questions, multiple choice on Canvas. Okay. We're going to start it today. We'll finish it tomorrow. Usually you finish more on Monday than you do, or on Tuesday, but we're going to flip-flop that today. You're going to AP Classroom. Last non-calculator multiple choice test. You're going to find MCQ practice number 3. No calculator. And then you'll get a classwork grade for this one between today and tomorrow. When we get to the end tomorrow, I'm going to have you screenshot your results and turn it in so that I can give you a classwork grade. No, within reason, I would say.